Iktomi and the Boulder by Paul Goble. Iktomi was walking along. Every story about Iktomi starts this way. Iktomi was walking along. It was a beautiful morning. Iktomi was going to visit his friends and relations in the next village. He was feeling happy with himself. He had painted his face and was wearing all his very best clothes. Doesn't he look dandy? My tobacco bag, my feather bonnet, my blanket, my fan. I'm looking my very best today. I bet the birds wish they had all my feathers. I'll look great at the dance tonight. I really am very good looking. I look like a real chief. How handsome I look, he was thinking. Everyone will be impressed. All the girls will want me to notice them. Iktomi is forever showing off, and then always getting into trouble. He never learns. The birds and animals stopped to look as he passed. Iktomi was feeling much too important to notice them. He never noticed that they were laughing at him. The sun rose higher in the sky. Iktomi was getting hot. He had a long walk ahead of him. His face paint started to feel sticky, and he wished he had not put on so many clothes. Feeling more and more uncomfortable, he sat down at last to rest in the shade of a great boulder. What a hot day, Iktomi thought. Why did I bring my blanket? I'll never need it. I can't be bothered to carry it any further. I'll pick it up on my way back again. Grandfather, he said to the boulder, Grandfather Boulder, I feel sorry for you. You are terribly sunburnt from sitting here so long in the sun. You have given me shade. I'm generous too. I give you my blanket to keep the sun off you. Take it. He wasn't really generous at all, was he? Iktomi spread his blanket over the boulder and went on his way. After a while, he noticed dark thunderclouds gathering like mountains behind him. I might need my blanket after all, he thought. Rain would spoil my beautiful clothes. I did give it, he said to himself as he walked back. A gift is a gift. Still, I need it. Anyway, it's much too nice a blanket just to leave on a rock. Boulder, he said, you do not need my blanket. You are only a rock. The sun can't burn you any more. I was only lending it to you. And that's not true, is it? Iktomi snatched the blanket off the boulder. He had not gone far when it started to thunder and rain. He sat down and sheltered under his blanket. Thank goodness I thought to bring my blanket. Soon above the rumble of thunder, he heard a different sound. It seemed to shake the earth. A regular thump, crash, bump, thump, bump, crash. That doesn't sound like thunder, he thought. Whatever is that? He peeped out from under his blanket. That great boulder was bouncing and crashing across the prairie right towards him. Iktomi dropped his blanket and ran in absolute terror. I must get to the top of the hill, he muttered. The boulder cannot go uphill. He was wrong. The boulder pounded end over end right to the top. I must get across the river, he panted. That boulder will get stuck in the mud. Iktomi ran down toward the river, the boulder bounding and thumping close at his heels. Anyone can outwit a rock. That rock has a terrible temper. He ran this way, he ran that way. He just could not escape from the boulder. He splashed across the river, gasping for breath. He scrambled out on the far bank and fell down exhausted. The boulder jumped the river in one mighty bound. Before Iktomi could get up again, the boulder rolled on top of his legs and stopped. Now, what is Iktomi going to do? Is it the end of the story? Help! Get off of me! Do you know what you're doing? Iktomi could not move. He struggled, he screamed, he hit the boulder, he pleaded, he cried. It made no difference. The boulder did not move. Now what do I do? Some buffaloes heard Iktomi and came to have a look. My younger brothers, Iktomi said. Iktomi has no respect. He calls everyone younger brother. Younger brothers, he said to the buffaloes, please help me. I was just climbing around this boulder when it rolled onto my legs. See, I cannot move. Roll it off of me. That wasn't true, was it? The bulls got their horns underneath and heaved and shoved, but they could not move the boulder even a little bit. The elk, the antelope, and the bear saw what was happening. They came to help. Come on, push. Don't be so feeble. Even the prairie dogs and the smallest of the four-legged ones joined in. They could not roll the boulder off Iktomi's legs. They gave up and wandered off. What's the matter with you? For goodness sakes, push! Darkness came, and the bats appeared with the rising moon. Oh, my younger brothers, Iktomi called out to the bats. This boulder has been saying rude things about you. He said you are so ugly that you don't dare show yourselves during the daytime. He said that you sleep upside down because you don't know your upside from your downside. He said some other things, but I simply cannot repeat them. Of course, Iktomi was making stories up again, wasn't he? What else can I tell them? They'll believe anything I say. It made the bats cross. More and more of them gathered. I told this boulder that he ought to know better than to insult his good-looking relatives. He even said that you don't know whether you are birds or animals, two-legged or four-legged. Furry birds, he called you. What a dreadful thing to say. The bats were furious. Suddenly they started hitting the boulder. They darted this way and that, and each time they struck, pieces of the boulder broke off. Yes, furry birds is what he called you, Iktomi shouted. Bats and pieces of rock flew in every direction. Ha, that's done it. I always knew I could get it, even with that stupid rock. Don't know your upside from your downside, Iktomi yelled. The bat swooped at the boulder and knocked off pieces until there was nothing left but little chips. That's right, Iktomi said to the bats. You taught that boulder a lesson. Iktomi went on his way again. What do you think Iktomi will get up to next? This story explains why bats have flattened faces and why there are rocks scattered all over the Great Plains.